Alright, so back to work, right? Sorry guys, it's been really nice the last couple of days. I've been in the outdoors a lot. I went on 4 fishing trips straight every night, so that's kind of crazy. But anyways, I'm a big outdoorsman and I'm also a big car person, just to let you guys know who haven't seen my other channel. But anyways, today the task is going to be try to cut some metal out so I can fit these tires. That tire 255 40 by 17 in this Integra tire wheel well, and it's not designed for that size tire from the factory, so we're gonna have to modify that. And from what I have marked off, we have the yellow area right here that needs to be either chopped out or moved or something, because we got to make way for the big tire. And the whole point of the reason why I want to do that is the car's got to look good and it's got to function on the track as well. I mean, I'm not looking to place the top, 5% or anything like that, but I'd like to finish at least in the top half. So that's why we got the big tires out front, and we're gonna soon have big tires out back, and that's what's going on right now. Okay, so I basically just started to cut that just to show you guys, but once that's done, we gotta get rid of all these spot welds that have already started, and a couple more spot welds on this side. We're gonna cut right through, and coming back to this side, we're gonna probably take this half. We're gonna cut this to this point, come down. We're gonna move this side up, and then after that, we're gonna probably try to cut around this area because it's just kind of here. Cut this area, cut it off, come all the way down here, and see how the tire fits up after that. So I got my hearing protection on, I got the face plate, I mean, everything gotta go. Alright, so now I've removed this piece from here. I don't even know what this is really called, by the way. But yeah, now you guys can see what is actually underneath that. And a lot of rain excavation or water excavation areas. You got that's the hole for where your windshield wipers would go, and water will leak through that. Comes down here, and it actually goes back that way and just basically leaks out of here. And this actual area right here actually leaks right here. There's actually a little hole right here for the water to leak through as well. But I did find a whole bunch of like pine cone leaves and pine needles and random ass stuff in here. But yeah, I use the spot welder a bit to drill some of these out. Like as you can see, some of these are drilled out really nice. But some of these are actually, like especially those three, kind of a pain in the ass. I drilled them out, still didn't work, so I had to use a cutting wheel to cut some of these up. But I finally did get it off. But as I can see, I'm not going to be very happy with the clearance issues. I'm definitely have to cut this area right here. Cutting that out, and then I'm gonna trim right up to about here, because you definitely got the space, and then it comes down to about right here, and then it kind of just comes back like this. So let me just kind of do that again. This area, cut up in probably like right here up to this top, carry on over, and this part is actually, it's only right here. It's not going to go as far, so it's like right here. So I'm going to have to cut that area too. Definitely cutting this part out down here. So I'm just going to actually cut a little piece at a time. I don't want to cut too much. So yeah, just show you guys all the shit that came out right there. It was stuck right here. Let's try to cut this area right here. Follow this yellow line all the way up. Actually follow this the back side right here all the way up. And then just start cutting around this area up here. So that's what I plan to do today. I know This is like day 2 already, because yesterday when I finished this, I had to go to a wedding, and after the wedding, I had to go out of state, and then came back home at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we got up at 8 o'clock right now to come work on this. So it's the type of dedication you gotta put into these project cars. They rob hours and money. But it'll be really nice when it's finally done. Oh yes, if you guys haven't noticed, I am missing a stud. I have to do that too. I'll probably do a tutorial on how to do that. Everything else I think should work just fine. Alright, so to show everybody kind of what it should look when it's done, if you take this piece that you just cut out, so before it sits like this, right? Okay, so it kind of sits like that. I'm not going to make it sit perfect. But what I wanted to do is, this is my brother's idea, he's the fabricator. He says we can take this, if you cut it just right, you can actually take this and just overlap it. Like that. See that? That way you can still retain the almost like the OEM kind of a setup, but at the same time you're just giving yourself like another additional 1.5 inches of clearance, which is probably gonna do just fine from what I can tell. And it's not referenced from this, it's referenced from this bottom right here. So that gap right there is probably about 2.5 inches. And you can always go higher if you want. You can always do some trimming anywhere you want. You can stack this up even higher. So you can actually even trim this off, maybe another 1/2 inch, and this is going to go even higher. And then of course you have to trim this down so it lines up. But just like that, it's like a pretty, actually a pretty genius idea, I have to say, for my brother. Because I would have never thought of that. I would just, cut the whole thing and tube it, and that would have been, I think that would have been a lot harder to do. But it's actually, I think it should turn out really well by going this route, just like that. The way, if anybody wants to actually look at it, it still looks OEM. It doesn't look like a race car. So, I mean, in terms of safety and things like that, I don't know exactly how that's going to affect the crash rating or anything like that, but this is kind of a race car, so you don't want to crash anyways. But it does have, it still does retain these lines, which my brother says is, see, I'm not a fabricator person, so I don't really know what all these lines mean, but my brother tells me all these lines that are on your chassis, they're there for a reason. So when it crashes, these are the bending points. So you might actually have to say, if you want to retain that, you might have to actually cut this out. So when you put this in, only one layer of metal is here, and so when it crashes in, this will crumple. I guess this whole piece is designed to crumple under stress, but not sure yet. I'll let him do the evaluation on that, and we'll work on it. But that's the plan right now. I'm trying to take some material off this area down here, and let me show you guys. Let me unhook you guys from the tripod here. Say hi to the camera, Chloe. What's that? That's the fabricator of the group, and we're gonna show you exactly what we've done so far. Right before I showed you how I had this piece that was off here, and then this piece was on the bottom, and I managed to just cut up, and then I just basically bent them out, just for frame of reference. How much clearance I've gotten once I did that. Here's the old piece. It used to hang like this, right? And now we've basically are gonna do this. Well, we're probably gonna even make it higher than that, because if you look at it, we want the tire to go up to this mark right here. But so far, look at the magic here. Reference that line right there. It only goes up to there. So it's not even covering that hole right here yet. So you'll probably want it to cover that hole. And we've already measured it. And the tire is rubbing on this piece, so we've already cut it already. Just like that. Right down to there. Right up to there. And I have to remove some of this. I don't even know what they call this. What do they call this? What? The stuff?
That is undercoating.
Undercoating. Remove the undercoating with like a brush wire and a brush spin wire, and then I'll cut that off too. But if you look from the top, this is what it looks like. We've cut there already. Come down this way. Okay, just like that. Basically, this is going to be completely removed right here. And we're going to keep the mount here. So we're going to have to probably cut this off just like that. Or just draw the spot wheels, whatever is easier. But we're about to go fishing, so we're going to continue this another day. Probably tomorrow night. And well, that's the front end. The back end, we were just talking about it off camera. And not the back end, but the back side of the wheel well. We measured the tire actually sits, and the tire actually touches this part and a little bit of this part right here. So we're thinking about taking this out too, just like how we took out the other side over here, and then basically redo this entire side here. And since the wheel's gonna pop out so far, a lot of the racetrack cars, what they do is they eliminate this entire fender right here, and they just put in like almost like a cool transition that just comes out just like that. So we're thinking about just putting in a new plate or sheet metal plate that just comes out and it wraps right around here, and we're just gonna stitch wood right here, right along the side here when we're done. So you're gonna see basically something that just comes out like this, one piece that just attaches right there, and that's it. Like that is the entire like finish. And then I guess the fenders just sit on top, just on top like that. But that's a thought for right now. We don't know if that's going to be permanent or not, and we're always playing with ideas out as we go. And what do? We measure twice, cut 5 times.
Yes. It works great.
Yes, a little bit at a time. Alright guys.